If we turn to the bad, first, South Korea is confronted by a nuclear-armed North, which possesses increasingly sophisticated weapons, a menu of warheads and delivery systems which pose an immediate existential threat to the survival of the ROK as a nation state. It's interesting, I think, that while many South Koreans had previously been inclined to view the North's nuclear weapons program with ambivalence, almost with, I guess you'd call it sort of a sleepwalking-like assumption that these weapons were reserved for American or Japanese target sets, but never really would be used in a South Korean context. But this attitude has shifted to a much more realistic understanding. South Korean citizens now better appreciate how and under what circumstances the North could actually use such weapons to selectively strike the South, cherry-pick attacks to destroy its industries and intimidate its government, and in so doing establish dominance over its lesser brothers and sisters in South Korea. I think this realization has domestic political implications in South Korea that were slow to mature. They have now taken root, but I think they've only begun to be felt. Second, beyond just possessing this increasingly capable inventory, North Korea has demonstrated an inclination to leverage it by mounting a range of provocations against the South. Unanswered, such provocations demonstrate weakness of the Seoul government and encourage the North to initiate more of the same. All of this undermines the sense of security of the population. And we have now a strong-willed administration now in place in the South, which is not inclined to subordinate itself to the North. Pyongyang has promised more of the same in the provocation department, and we should expect this to continue. This will further inflame the North-South dynamic. Third, interestingly, and it's something I think that other people here in Washington have done some work on or are still doing work on, we know the North is improving selected conventional capabilities. And this is a strategy that checkmates, to a degree, the strength provided by the U.S.-ROK alliance. There's a little bit of nuance here, but the mere existence of selected improved capabilities in the hands of the North, when you have the backstop provided by the nuclear threat, encourages Pyongyang to use these to ratchet up the pressure on the South and undermine the credibility of the alliance. The fourth item in the bad category, we have a really negative evolving regional dynamic that's reducing South Korea's ability to distance itself, as it has been able to do in the past, from the tensions of the, I would say, that featured the major players, namely the US and China. The heavy hand of the latter, felt episodically in the recent past by Seoul, when that government elected to do things that were in keeping with the US-ROK alliance. And here we can think of the 3-year extended three-way drama that attended the THAAD deployment. It's become much more difficult to ignore. China is not inclined to cut South Korea any slack going forward, particularly as the Yoon administration moves closer to more fully embrace the US Indo-Pacific strategy and the Quad 4 relationship. If you layer in the Japan in the context of the US, Japan, Korea de facto security profile that's increasing, and you see a Japan and a Korea that is not only aligned more vis-a-vis North Korea, but any three-way alignment against North Korea, coincidentally, I think becomes a de facto alliance in part against China. Finally, I think as if this brewing stew needed another ingredient, open to all is the PRC's determination to become a peer strategic nuclear power equal to the US and the Russian Federation. This almost mandates that Seoul declare itself more firmly aligned in all aspects with the US. And basically, the question becomes, how does the Republic of Korea adjust to this permanent new reckoning with an assertive Japan?